Hi everyone, today we are going to show you the logic behind the numbers and help you master pronunciation so you can finally sound like a local. Let's dive in.
All right, let's talk about French numbers. If they've ever made you feel like you're going a little bit crazy, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to break it all down and turn that confusion into total confidence. Ready? Let's get into it. Ah yes, the classic, quatre-vingt-dix. I mean, 420-10? It sounds completely nuts, right? Like some kind of weird math equation. And honestly, this is where so many people just throw their hands up. But here's the thing. It's not actually weird. It's a puzzle. And we are absolutely going to solve it together today. Yep, believe it or not, there is a method to the madness. It's a real system with its own logic and even a bit of fascinating history baked in. We're going to go step by step, and I'm going to give you the exact tools you need to finally feel confident with these numbers. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll build the foundation, 0 to 69. Then, we'll hit that big challenge, 70 to 99. After that, we'll go big with hundreds and thousands, cover how to put things in order, and wrap up with the most important takeaways. It's a super clear roadmap to get you there. All right, let's dive into Section 1, the foundation. And I've got great news for you. This first part, it's going to feel pretty straightforward and familiar. The whole idea here is to build up a really solid, confident base before we jump into the trickier stuff. Okay, first things first, a few quick tips on pronunciation. You know how in French you often drop the last consonant? Well, with numbers like cinq, six,
Sept,
huit, neuf, and dix, you actually say it. It's a bit of an exception. Now, a couple of tiny quirks to keep in mind. That P in
sept,
totally silent. And the X in six and dix just sounds like a simple S. And here's a cool pro tip for you. That final consonant sound, it often goes silent if the next word starts with a consonant. It's kind of like a rhythm you'll pick up on as you listen and speak more. All right, here's the very first pattern I want you to lock into your brain. It's called the et-au rule. For numbers that end in 1, think 21, 31, 41, you literally say and 1. So you get 21, 31. You see the pattern? It's super simple, super predictable, and it works all the way up to 61. Pretty easy, right? Okay, here we go. Take a deep breath. This is it. The section everyone dreads, from 70 to 99. But you know what? We're not going to dread it. We're going to make it your secret weapon. Because it's not really about memorization. It's about doing a tiny bit of math. Let's jump in and crush this thing. So check this out. Here's the first big secret. The French language doesn't have a specific word for the number 70. Seriously. Instead, they just say 60-10. You have soixante, which is 60, and dix, which is 10. You just smash them together. Soixante-dix. 60 plus 10. That's it. That's the first piece of the code right there. And once you get that, the rest of the 70s just click into place. It's so easy. You just keep adding. So if 70 is 60-10, what's 71? It's 60-11. Soixante-onze. And 77? Well, that's just 60-17, or soixante-dix-sept. You're literally just taking the teen numbers and adding them on top of 60. See how it works? Ready for the next big aha moment? Let's talk about 80. The word is quatre-vingts. And if you break that down, it literally means 420s. How cool is that? It's actually a leftover from a super old way of counting that was based on the number 20. So instead of inventing a new word, they just thought, hey, what's 4 times 20? It's just simple multiplication. Okay, pay close attention here, because this is a really important grammar point. The number 80, quatre-vingts, has an S at the end. You see it? But the second you add another number after it, like for 81, that S just vanishes. Proof. It becomes quatre-vingt-un. It's one of those little details that, when you get it right, makes you sound so much more fluent. So, what about 90? Well, guess what? You already know how to do it. If 80 is 420s, then 90 is just 420s 10. Quatre-vingt-dix, which brings us all the way back to our original puzzle, the number 99. It's 420s 19. Quatre-vingt-dix-neuf. It's just 80 plus 19. And just like that, you've cracked the code. It all makes sense now, doesn't it? Seriously, fantastic job. You have just made it through the hardest part of French numbers. I mean it. From this point on, I promise you, things get way, way simpler. You can breathe a little easier now. So, the rule for 100, which is 100, is going to feel super familiar. It's almost exactly like the rule we just learned for 80. If you have a nice round number like 200 or 300, cent gets an S at the end, de cent. But, just like with quatre-vingts, the second you add another number after it, that S disappears. So 201 is just 201. See? Same logic. Okay, now this next one is what I call a golden rule. You have to remember this. The word for thousand,
mille,
is super easy because it never changes. It never ever gets an S. I don't care if it's 2,000 or 20,000, it is always
mille.
This is probably the simplest rule of all, and if you remember it, you'll avoid one of the most common mistakes people make. All right, we're in the home stretch. We figured out how to count, so now let's figure out how to put stuff in order. You know, saying things like first, second, third. These are called ordinal numbers. And more good news. There's a super simple pattern here. For basically every number, you just stick em on the end. So, deux becomes deuxième for second. Trois becomes troisième for third. It's that easy. The only real exception you got to memorize is first, which is a unique word, premier. And since we're talking about première, let me give you a massive cultural pro tip that will save you so much confusion if you're ever in France. The premier étage, the first floor, is not the ground floor. It's what an American would call the second floor. The actual ground floor has its own name, le rez-de-chaussée. Trust me, remembering this little detail is a game changer when you're trying to find your hotel room. Whew! We have covered a ton of ground. So let's wrap this all up. We're going to do a quick review of the most important rules, the key codes that we've cracked today. These are the ones you really want to take with you. All right, let's nail this down. Here's your French number cheat sheet. Number 1, 70 is just addition, 60 plus 10. Number 2, 80 is multiplication, 4 times 20. Number 3, the S rule. Cent and vingt only get an S when they're a round number and nothing comes after them. And finally, the golden rule. Mille never ever gets an S. If you can remember those 4 things, you've pretty much mastered the whole system. And there you go. The logic, the weird history, the simple rules. French numbers aren't some big, scary mystery anymore, are they? They're just a system, a code. And now, you have the key. So the only real question is, what's the very first number you're going to go out and use with total confidence?
You can maybe start by writing your birth year in French letters in the comment section below, and I personally check your spelling. Merci d'avoir regardé la vidéo. Continuez à pratiquer. Avec le temps, cela deviendra un automatisme. Soyez curieux et je vous verrai bientôt pour une nouvelle vidéo ou dans une nouvelle leçon avec moi. À très bientôt. Keep practicing. With time, it will become second nature. Stay curious, and I'll see you very soon for a new video or for a conversation lesson with me. See you soon.